Hey, what's up out there, Shiani? Coming back with a haul. A lot of good stuff. Online purchases, convention, did a little bit of traveling. So excited to share all this awesome stuff with you. First up, I bought these, pre-ordered these from Midtown, and so they were about 260 each. I like these long term. Adam Hughes covers Betty and Veronica. I believe the series is canceled. I don't think he could put it out in a timely manner, but I really like these two covers. Just kind of cool and unique, and even down to the point where up in the photo box up in the corner, Veronica on the Betty covers got a mustache, and on the Veronica cover, Betty's got her teeth blacked out. I think I'm gonna hold these. I think they could reach like $20 as a set. Give it a little time. Not everything is a quick turn, but I think what we've seen with Adam Hughes, it does take a little bit of while for some of his books, most of his books, I'll say. It takes a little bit of while to get some value and appreciation of them. So I think these could be good ones. If you can find them for cheap, I would suggest picking them up. Who knows? Who knows if it'll work out or not? Next up, bought these from an oh shoot, bought these from an online store. New X-Men number 31, first appearance of Kimura. Paid paid like 325 each for these, and I got so for that one, and I got an astonishing X-Men number 43. This Art Adams Magic cover. Found three of those. The seller had three of those. This book has well, it's not Magic, is it? Is it Magic? Or is that Emma Frost? Well, at any rate, this book has really picked up, and some of Art Adams Magic covers have really picked up because of the New Mutants movie. I picked up this one also, Totally Awesome Hulk number 3 for $4. First appearance cameo of Kid Kaiju. I don't know how I really feel about him, especially this book. I've talked about it before. It doesn't name him. He's in a couple panels. Not much to it, but while I was picking stuff up, I figured I'd pick that up for cover price. Another online dealer, I got a couple copies of X-Men 65. First, Cecilia Reyes, who will be played by, I forget her name now. Was Rosario Dawson, who's also in. This will be in the new X-Men movie. She's also in Daredevil as Night Nurse, which I don't know how I feel about multiple characters. So she's playing two Marvel characters and owned by different companies now. And so's Josh Brolin with Thanos and Cable. I don't know. It seems kind of weird that is there really no other actors out there that they can cast for these roles? I don't know. I mean, I know they have some draw, but I would think there could be some other people. Spider-Man 2099 number 4, the variant. I paid a little bit under $20 for this. I like this one a lot, especially long term. When it came out, it was pretty hot. I think it was selling for about 40. Um, and then it kind of leveled back down. This one's gone up and down a lot. I don't know if maybe Marvel might have released some at a later date to retailers on sale, because for a while there was only like one or two online, and now I think there's more than that. So I'm not sure currently why it's like that, but I would say long term, that's a book to look into for $20. All right, next up, I got some. This was a convention I went to. I got this first run here for $1 each. Deadpool number 7, the 25th anniversary issue, the Tony Moore cover. Kind of it's a little bit of a Walking Dead 1 homage. not quite. You know, it's kind of in that realm. But this had a $10 cover price, so if I can get that for $1, I'm definitely picking that up. Also got the Labyrinth 30th anniversary special #1. I got a Preacher #7 for $1, which that's a pretty good book for $1, I'd say. Not what it was 2-3 years ago, but still. Spider-Gwen #4. This is the Brooks variant. I never really liked this cover, but for $1, I couldn't pass it up, I guess. And a Lois and Clark #1. Debated first appearance of John Kent. Ultimate Spider-Man 152, J. Scott Campbell cover. And finally, Ultimate Spider-Man #1. This is the second Ultimate Spider-Man, the Miles Morales, which, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the first time Miles Morales is in his own title. So it's kind of a significant issue. I pick these up when I see them for $1 or $2. I think long term, I think it's a good book to have. Moving on at the convention, couple books from one dealer. Thanos Quest #1, first print. Did not have a copy. Paid $10. Nice high grade copy. Thought that was a really good price. We also had a Spider-Man 299, nice near mint copy for $20. And then I had him throw this guy in, which I had been eyeballing at a show before, and I just think this book is kind of hard to find at shows and in the wild. If you look online, there's plenty available, but in high grade, it's tough to find. This is definitely a book that I think you want to hold in your hand and check out the front and back, because paper quality isn't great. Obviously, the whole spine is black. This one is really pretty nice high grade. I think there was doesn't look too bad actually. I think it's pretty nice. Ended up paying $70 for that, and did not have a copy, so I think it's just one of those books that I really like getting these independent, books besides Marvel and DC. I like getting the kind of non-mainstream first appearances, these cult characters, if you will. So this is just another add to that in my collection. And like I said, I'm not sure where it's going to go with they've announced that they're probably going to do a new movie. I think they cast some people. It'll be basically a reboot, so it may go up in the near future here. I don't know. I would say if they keep moving forward, even though it won't be Del Toro directing and different cast, I would say if they produce something that looks pretty good, this will probably go up to, I don't know, maybe 125, 150 raw, maybe. Pretty good pickup, I think. Another dealer. This guy, I don't know, kind of a squirrely guy. I bought from him before at a show years ago. He's got just tons of multiple copies of keys from Bronze and Copper Age. And he says I haven't got anything new in 20 years, and I usually don't bring this collection out. And I think I bought from him might have been 4 or 5 years ago, because I know I picked a Marvel Preview #4 up from him before the Guardians movie came out, so that would have been a while ago. And I think this is the only show he's done since then. So he had a lot of the stuff I felt was overpriced, because none of it was, they were all bagged, but none of them were boarded, and they were bagged from, when they came out. So they were all, yellow bags at this point. So I picked this one up, Shazam 25, First Appearance of Isis, which is a book I've had on my list to pick up here if I can find them for cheap. I think she might be in the Shazam movie, but she has been announced for TV show Flash, I believe. But I don't know. Nothing for certain, obviously. But it still does sell pretty well online, so $10 is easily make a profit on that if I wanted to sell it. So I picked this one up and took it up. He's like, "Oh, you found this over in the $30?" I was like, "No, this was in the $10." He said, "Oh, it should have been over in the $30." that's $100 book. I said, no, this isn't $100 book. He said, let me get my Overstreet. I'll show you. So he flips open Overstreet, and sure enough, this book in Overstreet for a near mint is listed at $100, which I don't know. I think you're hard pressed to get 100 for this book in near mint. Maybe you could if you knew you could get it graded at a real high grade, but I don't see any going for 100. And so he's like, "Yeah, see, I told you $100." I'm looking. I'm like, "Well, it's got spine tick, rounded corners. One of the corners has a little crease on it." He's like, "Well, I'm not grading books. I'm just selling books. So I'll honor the $10." I said, "All right, cool, thank you." But he was kind of like, I don't know, a little bit of a jerk about it. He thinks he's got better stuff than he does. So at any rate, I also picked up Mr. Miracle #2, First Granny Goodness. I don't know why I was thinking this was #4, First Big Barda, but that was the book I really wanted. I've passed over this book multiple times, but it's still a pretty nice high grade copy, nice colors on it, so I don't feel like $10 is bad, especially for a first appearance. So that was only two I got from him, $10. Went to another guy that I know that I've bought some stuff off of before. He usually gives me good deals. Found this, which I've only ever seen this one other time in the wild, and the guy wanted like $60 or $80 for it. Punisher #100. This is, I believe this would be the variant cover. I don't think they differentiated on the barcode, like which one was variant, which wasn't. The other cover is like I think it's got a little bit of foil on it. It's kind of blue, bluish color. This is, I believe this is a Jay Lee cover as well. Pretty cool cover, but it is, I paid $15 for it. Lots listed on eBay, maybe half a dozen, around $60 to $80 range. I don't really see any selling, maybe around 40, but it's still definitely a sought after book and kind of hard to find. So if you can find it, definitely pick it up for $15. And I also got an Uncanny 266 for $60. I looked this thing over pretty closely. I think it's got a pretty good chance at a 9.8, maybe a 9.6. I think I might get it graded, just because this book seems to know no end as to reasons why it holds a pretty decent value. Obviously, there's a ton of them out there. They keep throwing out Gambit movie, but it's moving forward, then it doesn't, then it's back on, then it's stopped. So I think we're also getting to the point where it's just a nostalgia thing with collectors, that they want that book because it was a book around their childhood that they couldn't afford. All right, this is a different dealer. Again, I bought some stuff from him. Good guy. He had some books I wanted, so I threw in a couple of these. Scarlet #1. I looked at this and I was like, that's not the #1 cover, but I don't think that's a variant either. So I flipped by it, and then I remembered, oh, this is the second print cover, which is pretty tough to find. I really hope they do something with this, just from a value standpoint. I think it's going to be really tough to make into an acceptable show on TV in any manner, because it's kind of anarchist, and it's a lot of, I like the story. It pushes a lot of boundaries, so it may get made. Brian Michael Bendis has a good track record as far as TV shows, so I think it's got a good chance. Paid $2 for it. Also paid $2 for Young Avengers #1. Been picking these up, but the ones I really wanted was, picked up probably like a mid-grade Uncanny 128. I'm really lacking in the decent Uncannies around in the Bern Claremont area, so I've been trying to pick them up if I can find them at a good price, just because these seem to hold their value and they're just going to keep going up as they get older. So I paid $8 for that, but these were the steals of the whole show, I think. I got a Batman 655, the variant. Did not have a copy. Not super hard to find, but I've never found one in a price that I wanted, especially in the past year or so, since this thing has gone up a lot. Paid $28 for it, so I'm pretty happy with that. It's not perfect. It's got like a little bit of a a bend up here, not color breaking, which is nice, but still, it's not perfect. I still think that price, man, I was surprised when he had it that low. And this was like halfway through the show. It was up on his wall along with this, and I'm kind of thinking, what are people looking at here? I mean, maybe he was in the back, so maybe people just didn't get back there. Batman 194, super nice copy, really nice copy. Maybe 2 spine ticks, maybe, but really sharp, super sharp, nice color. Paid 80 for that. They're moving forward with the Silver and Black. Is that the movie? Yeah, Silver and Black, Black Cat and Silver Sable. Sounds like a horrible movie to me, but we'll see if it pans out. But still, just that book in general, any type of Spider-Man key like that, I'm really happy to have in the collection. Paid $25 for this. I like this book long term. I think this is one of the few retailer variants that have come out in the past 6-8 months that will hold some value. It seems to be holding around 100 to 150 right now, which is pretty crazy for a one per store. Thinking there's probably at least 2,000 of them out there. So not sure. I probably wouldn't pay that much for it now, but who knows? I've been wrong on that Venom number one per store, the black and white with the remastered cover, which is horrible. That book's staying strong at 150 to 200, which is crazy, I think, for a reprint cover. But although this is a reprint cover too, it's got a little bit of differentiation, but I like it. I mean, I think there's plenty of Spawn fans out there that'll pay for it. So if you can find one around 50, I would say definitely pick it up. But I don't see them at that price right now. Give it some time. Maybe they'll come down. These I got at a shop. So I went to this comic shop has a bunch of stores. I went to their main store where they have a ton of back issues that I go to a lot. I didn't find one thing. Usually I have good luck there, but I probably spent like an hour and a half in there and couldn't find anything. So I left without anything, which I've never done before. Been there, half a dozen times at least. But I did stop at one of their smaller stores on the way home. It's out of town for me, so on the way home I stopped at one of their smaller stores, which I haven't had good luck at historically, but I was glad I stopped this time. It looked like they had just got some new dollar boxes, and here's what I found in those. I got a Shadow Man 8, first Master Dark, whatever. A real nice copy of Power Girl number 1 from, this is her first solo series, I believe. She had that little run in Showcase, and then this followed it. His book doesn't really go for a whole lot, but it is a real nice copy, and I could see something in the future. Richard Dragon number 18, first Bronze Tiger. And this has always been like a kind of a tough book for me to find. I found a couple here and there, but usually when you get up this high in Richard Dragon, they don't have them. And paid $1 for it. It's not high grade. It's got a little bit of spine issues, but for $1, not mad. This was definitely the find of the store. Now I went to this store before and they had a dollar sale with a ton of dollar books. And I found Coyote number 12. I found multiples of it. And I was looking at it. I'm like, is this the first Todd McFarlane art? I can't remember. I knew it had the McFarlane art in it. Cell phone service wasn't working. So I picked up like 5 copies of it for $1. And that's the second McFarlane, what's that called? Rose? Something Rose. The backup story in this issue. So obviously they had picked up multiple runs of these, or maybe they just had them in storage or whatever. And they finally pulled out this box, which had 5 copies of it for $1. First Todd McFarlane art. And this book has started to appreciate a lot recently. So, I see it for $20 to $40, depending on the day. Really happy to find that. Really happy. Glad I stopped. I also picked up that Astonishing X-Men 43 I think that was like 425, along with New Mutants Forever #4. This is just a regular cover, Art Adams cover. Again, another one that's kind of picked up because of Magic. This is like a $15 book. And then this was also a pretty big steal. Silver Surfer #1, the Francavilla variant. This book, a while ago, maybe 6 months ago, was going for pretty nice money, like a couple $100. I don't think it's going for that now, but it was in a box near their regular back issues that was titled Variants Half Off. And it was the very last book in the box. It was out of order. I think nobody had gone back that far in the box, maybe, because it only had a $10 price tag on it. And so 50% off, $5. I took it up front and I forgot to tell him that it was half off, and there was no sticker on it. So I ended up paying $10, which I am not mad about at all. It's a really tough book in high grade, obviously, because of the all black cover. I think it's got like a spine tech down here. There is like this wear you can see, but that's on the bag. I should have changed the bag. It looked like it just got maybe put back in the box and rubbed up against something, but it did damage it a little bit at one point. But I'm not mad about that for $10. Really cool book. So simple too. I mean, Francavilla does some really cool stuff. Speaking of cool stuff, Brian Boland, Zatanna covers. These books have started to appreciate. These are like 1 in 10 or 1 in 15s. And I just picked this one up. I showed like maybe 2 videos ago. Picked it up for like $1. But it wasn't high grade like this. These are all near mint, and I paid $13 each for them. And these are going for, I don't know, 20 to 50, depending on the cover and the day. Really cool covers there if you can find them. I did pick up one of these because I really love the art. I think Marvel really cheaped out on this. If you go on Gabriel Delato's Tumblr account, he's got a bunch of artwork that he does, like commissions and stuff. Commissions or stuff that just ends up in lithographs. Probably all commission work, the stuff that doesn't make covers. But he has a lot of images of a lot of custom commission pieces that are on this black paper, like the artist paper. It's got that little bit of texture to it. So I assume this Venom cover was one of those at one point. He doesn't have it shown on his Tumblr that I could find, but he's got like every other Marvel character. And that's all this is just one of these things. It's like a 8.5 by 11. It's a fairly, he does really nice stuff, but he can crank these out fairly quick, I think, too. So I think Marvel just paid him to like reuse his artwork like they've done in the past with Adam Hughes a couple times. So I think it's a cool book. Long term, I mean, it was known about. Long term, I don't know. I paid $22 for it. Not worried about getting that back if I had to sell it, but I think it'll be a $50 book. All right. New X-Men 128. Been picking these up. First Phantom X. I paid $20 for it. Nice high-grade copy. No spine issues, I don't believe. So I'll pick it up for that price. These I bought from an online seller. I'm not too happy about the prices. The prices were about where they should be, I think, for the grades. Batman 608, I paid $60 for it. It's probably like a VF. I mean, that's about where it should be, or maybe even $50. This one was probably the one I'm not really sure what the price should be at. Batman 227, classic Neal Adams cover. Cover's attached. It's got some wear. I paid $60 for it, so I don't think that was too bad. And then I also picked up, really what I wanted was this one, Batman 234. I paid $90 for that. That one was probably a little too high for the condition. Maybe right about where it is. Like, if you're buying off of eBay, it's probably a little high. If you were at a show, I think you'd be hard pressed to find this book in any condition for $90. But it's got like a little chip and a little fold and tear right there. I don't have one, so I'm happy to have that. And also got this, which I had on my radar, and this is pretty high grade, so I think this was a good price. Uncanny 129. I paid 60 for that. First Kitty Pryde and first White Queen. Again, adding to that Byrne Claremont run that I'm lacking in. And that book it's kind of rising continually. So this was way out of town, Florida, for me. I was there for a conference and went to some shops. So I found some good stuff. I was on a good roll. Let's show you those first. 250 Gotham Girls #2. It's probably like a VF, but and then I found this one as well for I think 350 Batman Strikes #35. These were like in a kids box, which this shop was crazy. It had lots of good back issues, but it had stuff just stacked on top of the long boxes, or there was stuff down on the floor and then stuff in front of the long boxes. So some of the stuff I moved boxes out of the way, and I was moving stuff off the top to get the stuff, because that's where you'll really find stuff that people don't want to take the time to dig into. And so I found those two like on the floor, and there was some stuff in front of it. I think had a ton of these. Bloodstone #1, paid $350. I'm continually buying and selling these. I think I have a couple in the collection. Avengers Arena #14, the Wolverine #1 homage. Paid $350 for that. Let me center that up a little bit more. This one I was really surprised to find for this price. Infinity #10, first appearance of Thane. This book's been known about for a while. Paid $450 for it. I can't find it for less than $10 usually, and I did not have a copy, so happy to have that. Here's another one to keep an eye out for. All New Wolverine #2. This features first appearance of 3 new women Wolverine characters, and I believe one of them dies. Most importantly, it's the first appearance of Gabby, who has been front and center in the most recent issues. She's featured on some covers along with X-23. Also, one of the other characters was Zelda. Is one of the women. I forget what the name of the third one was. But really, it's you want it for the Gabby, and the variant is going really, really nice right now. About $50 for I think it's a 1 in 25. This book I just don't see. Honestly, 1 and 2, I'd be picking them up if I could find them for like $4. I think that's gonna be a tall order. Maybe $5. 1 is technically the first appearance of X-23 as Wolverine, so that's the consensus book, other than some previews. Also found there, Amazing Heroes #16, the New Mutants cover. Came out like a month or two before New Mutants #1. It did come out after graphic novel #4, Marvel graphic novel #4. So, but it's cool because it does have like it has pages from New Mutants #1 that show like the origins or the first appearances of the characters. So it's got the actual pages in this, which came out, before New Mutants #1. So kind of depends how you want to buy it. These preview books. Happy to find these for $4 for 656 and $5 for 655. So first cameo of Damon Wayans, really the first full. And this book 656 is starting to catch on. I don't see that for less than $10 much anymore. So I think people are starting to realize like this is kind of just a cameo, but it's really what the market sees as the first appearance, and then 5.6 is like the first full. Also had this, like these were again in long boxes on the floor way back. Ultimate Thor #1, J. Scott Campbell cover. This is the regular variant, not the Long Beach Comic Con variant. Excuse me. Way to tell the difference. It's got the same cover art, unfortunately, but I think it's down here. Over here, it's got Long Beach Comic Con. The one you want is this one. just a little bit more desired. Also found, I was really surprised to find this. I think it's just for lack of people digging. Unfortunately, it's kind of bent to crap. Ultimate Spider-Man 150, the J. Scott Campbell. I think it's 1 in 50. Might be a 1 in 25. I don't know. Oh, I paid. I think it's 1 in 25 actually. Paid 10 for the Thor, 25 for this. That's why it makes me think this was 1 in 25. But it was in the box. Like this is how it is. In the box, it was kind of got like a U shape to it. But the good thing is that most of it is not. Honestly, I don't think any of it is color breaking. There's a bunch of nicks you can kind of see on the bag. Most of those are where there's little folds on the book, but none of them are color breaking. So now if I do get it pressed, it would probably highlight if there was some. So I'm not sure what to do with that thing. Maybe just put it in like a Mylar with a full back and just try and straighten it out a little bit. So that was all I got at that shop. Went to the next shop, which was like 15 minutes away. It was kind of like, it was one of those shops where it was mostly new comics. Didn't really have good back issues. Didn't have many variants. Didn't have much. I was kind of gonna walk out with nothing. Then I saw there was 2 boxes that said all variants $2. I was like, oh, cool. So I'm going through them, and some of them had prices on. I'm like, I yelled up front to the guy, "Are these $2?" Said, "Oh yeah, definitely." Okay, cool. Snack some of these up. This one, Transformer Spotlight, Megatron. I don't know a whole lot about what the value of it is. Maybe like $8 or $10. So, but I paid $2. And this is a variant. Whatever. But these were the real finds at the store. Exo Man of War #3. All these are 1 in 20 or 1 in 25 variants. These Valiant variants are, people pay decent money for them if they're the right ones. Not all of them sell. I don't think this one's worth a whole lot. Shadow Man #3, Dave Johnson cover. Bloodshot #3. Not sure who the artist is on that. I think it's I can't remember the guy's name. That's a pretty cool cover though. Nice artwork. Eternal Warrior #2. This is a Clayton Crane cover. As is this. Harbinger Wars #2. Harbinger Wars #3. And some of these go for $20 to $40. Also got Harbinger #2. But really what caught my eye, and I recognized it because I had seen one sell recently, was Harbinger #3. First appearance of Livewire, who is the Valiant's version of Livewire. But not only this was the only one for some reason that I saw that they have multiples of. 3 of them. The last one I saw sold for $75. So I was really happy to find that for $2. Alright, went to the next store, and I'm trying to think. There was one store, I think this is the next store. Yeah, this is the next store I went to. It kind of pissed me off. Like, I walked in there, and they're playing gaming on the one side, and I go back to where the long boxes are. I had a decent amount of new stuff. Couple, I had some of the new variants and stuff. Went back to where long boxes are. Speaking of places that are just like not trying to sell you what they have, I told you about the first place where the guy had stuff stacked on top of long boxes, so you have to move stuff out of the way. This place had like they must have just bought some new tables or something, and they were moving stuff around, and lots of boxes were on the floor. They had one table where it was a table, it had some long boxes. Then it had another table on top of it, on top of the long boxes, upside down, that they were like assembling the table right there on top of the comics. And yet there was the owner was up front just sitting at the gaming table just talking to people, which I understand, build some rapport, but at the same time, I can't see what's in those boxes, so I'm not buying it from you. So He did have some variants on the ground, and I went through those. I found this. This was the only one I really liked. Captain America #1. I think it's a 1 in 50. Paid $20 for it, so I took that and walked out from there. All right, next, and then I went to one more store that same day and did not find anything at that store. So you win some, you lose some. Next day I went to 2 stores, I believe. No, I went to 3 and only bought stuff at one. So again, but this was a really cool store. Found a Postal #1 for $4.25, basically about cover price. This story is pretty cool. I read the first arc. Um, I haven't read past that yet, but I did like it. Kind of had the same feel as Briggs Land did to me, just different characters at this point. But I like Briggs Land too, so Postal has been optioned, I believe. So who knows if they'll move forward with it or not. But they also did have this one, the signed variant, for $15. These variants, the signed, I don't know that I've ever seen one that isn't signed. They come with this sticker on the back. So it's got that barcode sticker. It's already sealed, meaning when it got shipped to the dealer. That was 15, and then Captain Marvel #18. This book, I was picking these up for a little while for like $10-15, and they were selling for like 60. I think they still are. They've gone up. This is the first time Carol Danvers gets her power, supposedly, and I paid $25 for it, so I'm not mad about that. It's not a great looking copy, but I just don't see them for that little anymore. But the books that I really wanted this was a steal at this point. Spawn 221, the Amazing Fantasy 15 homage. This I paid $30 for. Currently it's about a $75 to $100 book, depending on the day. So that was a great find. And then this was up behind their counter, and I didn't look at it too closely, but I had to get it for the price. Hulk 180. It's intact. It's got the value stamp. It's the covers attached. The staples look good, not rusty. There's a little bit of bending down here, a little couple chips. It's not a high grade copy by any means, but it was $95, so I couldn't pass it up for that. And this completes my Wolverine first appearance run now, so I have 180 to 182 now. So happy to complete that. Really happy to find both these for the price I did. Overall, definitely a successful trip. Went to 7 shops, bought from 4. Some of them, it's gonna happen. But really happy to have a lot of cool books added to the collection. So thanks again for watching. Keep trolling those dollar boxes.